Right, time to put the finishing touches to these cliffs now. I'm just going to put a little more strength in here and there where the picture shows it. And then we're going to, I'm not making them as dark as the photograph, because I think it's nicer to have just a little bit of interest being seen. That's more or less okay there. Now here, I'm going to use my white here just to, what I'm doing is pressing a point, I hope you can see that, I'm pressing down on it to just create a little interest in the sunlight that's hitting those cliffs, like that. You can see I've already put some in. Emphasize that shadow a little more, like that. And I think that's more or less all that I'm going to do, except I've just put a little bit of green on here. Just a little bit of, once again, you just twist the pencil and just put a little green in. And I think we've got to leave it at that. It's impossible to just keep going and going, otherwise you would spoil it. So as long as you get the idea, and I've got that, quieten it down somewhat with my colour shaper, we'll leave it at that. Now these are the 4 colours I'm going to be using on the sand. Starting off with the grey, the lighter grey. Just bring that in. So this is only this area of sand. The water and the sand in the foreground I'm going to do separately. I'm going to get this bit done first. That stretches out, and there's a little tiny bit in there as well, so we might as well infill that, don't worry about it. Okay, next colour is the ochre. Now this is making it sandy, but there's quite a rich sand in this particular beach, so we want to put another colour on as well. That's the ochre, and this is sort of like a reddy ochre as well. That's good colour. That's a good colour. A little bit in there. Good. Now we'll use a colour shaper, a clean colour shaper, folks, and rub it off with I rub it off with my thumb, like that, and that's all blended in. See, goes in nicely, doesn't it? And that's not quite rich enough. I think I'm going to put a little more richness in that. So that means back to this one. That's better. Good. And see how that is. Ah, that's good. Lovely. Now we've got to kind of concentrate. This is where this bit comes in. This is my darker reddy brown. Now that seems sort of contrast in there. Now that little tiny bit in there doesn't show up as much as I'd like it to, so I'm going to make it just a little darker on the cliff edge, and you should now be able to see that. In the back. Not much of it, but it's just enough to give us the effect. Now that little bit of dark there really strikes a note, doesn't it? And I think we'll put this a little more contrast in. And I think it's not a bad idea just to put just a little bit of this tone into the sand, just to put a little texture in as well. Well, it's a bit boring if it becomes just all one colour. That's nice. That's it for the moment. Now this is probably the most difficult part of the picture, the little characters, and I'm going to show you how we put them in. But just to give you some idea of perspective, this is a 5p piece. So imagine drawing those characters inside a 5p piece. Okay, we start off with putting a little white on. Now I've got to start with the face. Now you can see the detail side of this is absolutely incredible. You cannot get all the detail in, but I'll give you as much information as I can. She's got a off the shoulder, very pretty dress, wedding dress, and the arm goes up on her husband. that. And just a little bit of neck there. If you say it to yourself, like I'm showing you now, this is how you can see what's needed. Now the little character, little face like that. And that's the first stage. Now for this little red dress. Now her husband's got his hand there, so I'm having to go around it now. Normally those that have seen me work before know that I insist on base colours when I'm putting my pastel pencils, especially the stronger colours on. So what are you doing then, Colin, putting red directly on top of the pastel paper? Well, there's a very good reason for that, and that is that the red any red will not work very successfully over any light base colour, unless you want a pink. So you have to put the red on directly on, but you'll see as I go on with this how I can use other colours on top of it to create the base. There we are, there's the red gone on now. And what I've got to do now is put a little bit of contrast in. This is an Indian red. I know it doesn't look very good at the moment, but it will do when I finish with it. And you'll have to give me the fact that that is very small detail. Okay. Shadow in there, and in there, and there's a little bit of shadow there, under the arm, and coming on down there. Okay. Now what I'm going to do now is use my colour shaper again, just the edge of this colour shaper here, just to blend it in. Now I'm going to leave it at that for the time being, because I do definitely need to come back to it again. Give it a blow. Now the little chappy here is going to have, I'm sorry about the lighting, I've got to apologise to you for that, because it's so close, the shadow of my hand on it is creating a little bit of a problem, but I'm hoping it's not going to spoil it for you. There's no way I can get this close and give you perfect lighting. Now I'm not going to spend hours and hours on this because it would take all the time up. But I just wanted to see how we start off putting the little character. This is a grey, but I should be putting a very dark Payne's grey on top of it. There we are, and then we'll go on. But now the other thing is, of course, the hair. Now hair here needs to again have a contrast of colour. So hair goes in there, like that, and we now need to put the darker colours on. Right, well I've advanced that quite a lot, as you can see, and I've spent a long time on it. So, but we've got the effect that I wanted now. I've got a shadow, a little bit of shadow in there I'm putting in, coming from the arm onto the dress. Now we're going to complete the shadow down here. Now we're using black. That might seem to you a bit severe, but we've got to get a nice contrast. So I'm going to be using the red on top of it in a minute. What we're looking for is just a very, very light touch of black. There's not very much in that at all. The wind is blowing her dress, which is very pretty and very effective, like that. Now what I'll do with that is I'll first of all use the Indian red, just to blend that in with. And then back to the red again to give us the effect. Now that's rather pretty, isn't it? Now I need a very dark brown in there. I can find it. This is. Just put in a. It's again indicating, just indicating the bare feet side of this. It's very difficult. I want to leave a little bit of light there. That's just poking through. That's right pretty, isn't it? And there's a little bit of depth in there. I don't have to do too much more than that, really. It's just giving the contrast that I need.